Introducing first from the unforgiving Australian Outback, Exile!
David, we just saw the video package, of course, setting up this triple threat matchup, which was just announced as we see Exodus making her way to the ring. Once and for all, will we figure out who the leader of Exile is? Will the rift be settled? Will the differences be settled, David?
I think so tonight because they all wanted this match.
And her first opponent, Ice Cold!
We're talking about that freedom match that's going to be coming up between Coach Campanelli and Ariel Sky. This in itself is like a freedom match because I believe whoever wins this is going to be the leader of the pack, if you will, of Exile.
They were in the finals of the WoW Trios tournament, and now we see them fighting like this.
And the final competitor, Genesis!
For once and for all, we'll find out who the leader of this group is, possibly. Although Genesis has been claiming to be the leader for quite some time, but that's self-appointed.
These three personalities,
Exile, baby!
these three volatile alpha personalities are all in the ring against each other now.
Paige Prince of Ali, the official in charge of this all-important triple threat matchup, and Exodus.
Genesis was telling them to take an exit and just go out, and now Ice Cold and Exodus have teamed up against Genesis. And maybe this is going to be a two-on-one matchup.
Well, that's quite interesting. The last time we saw Exodus and Ice Cold, they were wrestling each other. But when both tried to get pinfalls, Genesis distracted the referee.
And Genesis tossed right out like a sack of potatoes out of the ring by her former partners. And I'm already calling them former partners. I don't think this is ever going to be a team again after this matchup.
And now Exodus and Ice Cold, middle of the ring, Ice Cold kicking out the legs of Exodus, the MMA specialist now. As Ice Cold tripped up by Genesis on the outside of the ring. Forearm shot, rocks Ice Cold. And Genesis just slams the head of Ice Cold into the ring canvas. Exodus with a forearm shot to the back. And she certainly has been fired up as of late. Clothesline by Ice Cold.
Nice drop by the leg across Exodus.
Each woman in there competing for her very own self, David.
No doubt about that, Nigel.
Genesis misses wildly with the kick, but connects with that one to the chest of Ice Cold, who kips right back up. The highly athletic Ice Cold. Genesis, it's a variation of the insect, but it's broken up by Exodus. Exodus, who's usually a more ground-based wrestler. But as of late, we've seen her lose her temper, lose her cool, David. Ice Cold charges Exodus.
Ooh, she tried to leap up over that shoulder, but that kick took off the head of Exodus.
She got a little height on that, going for a leg lariat, but she certainly missed the leg drop follow-up. And that buys Exodus some time in this triple threat matchup. And David, we can't forget tonight's main event, the WoW World Champion, Abilene Maverick. I cannot believe it, defending the championship and agreeing to do so against the former WoW World Champion, Santana Garrett. What an explosive main event that will promise to be now. Back in the ring, Exile in a headlock, in a rear chin lock.
All three of them.
All three except for Genesis, that is.
Good point. Thank you, Nigel, for noting that.
Oh my goodness! And all three come down and explode. And now all three women in the middle of the ring, working their way to get back up to a vertical base, David. Well, I certainly hope that Santana has a nice shot for Abilene Maverick for her disrespectful comments, but nonetheless, back to the in-ring action as Exodus and Ice Cold working together as a tandem, at least for now, against Genesis. Double knees. But there can only be one winner in this matchup, Dave.
Well, right now, Exodus has been taking over the most, but there, Ice Cold able to slide out of that maneuver. Ice Cold taking Exodus. No, I thought you would be taking her down. You know, they all know each other's maneuvers.
That's right, David. They trained together, they had lived together, and now they've been together as a group, going all the way to the Trios Tournament Finals, so you know they know each other like the back of their hand as Ice Cold tries to gain control in this matchup.
Well, Ice Cold making a mistake there, going away from continuing to pound on Exodus as she took the break. Exodus got the upper hand. Here comes Genesis now. Genesis with the boots to Exile's member, Exodus.
Exodus got the upper hand. Genesis kicked her off. She was able to get the pinfall on Ice Cold.
Here is your winner, Genesis!
Genesis has been telling us, David, but now she's proven it, I guess.